when I first moved down to LA, as a guy who skates occasionally, one of the first things I did was I was peering through elementary school fences.
Yeah.
And they say, it's funny you mentioned this guy with a bandana and Dickie shorts on came up and just beat the fucking dog shit out of me one day.
Are you fucking I thought I was kind of starting to space out, and then I heard that, and I'm like, wait, you got me.
I was trying to think, like, what do Mexican, they wear low-hanging Blink-182 style Dickie shorts, and they wear bandanas.
Right.
But I was looking around for a place to go, like, just work on my kickflips, flat ground. Elementary schools in my hometown are the spot.
Right.
And in my hometown, there's no crimes. You can just go no-slide the benches. You can try to ollie over one of the four-square or hopscotch squares. But you get to L.A., and apparently it's pedophile central and pedophile o'clock always.
Really?
Because, dude, everything around my old street, West Adams, was just fenced in like a prison.
Yeah, because, okay, so LA, for people who don't really understand it, and Southern California in general, when you talk about what kind of skateboarding and BMX and rollerblading and scooters, to a certain extent, they all kind of ride similar stuff. But when you talk about LA versus like New York, when we talk about New York, it's like things New York is known for that doesn't really exist in other parts of the world for skating and shit, like cellar doors, or you'll see like a famous skate spot in Brooklyn that's just like a fucking 8-stair rail that has had like hundreds and hundreds of clips pulled on it, or some random little ledge, whatever. When people talk about California, they want to come to California and they want to ride these perfect schoolyards. There are schools, I can think of hundreds of them that I've been to that are just full of perfect buttery long waxed up ledges and perfect low handrails and like
the picnic tables that look giant but are actually 2.5 feet off the ground.
And so if you grow up like wanting to be a skateboarder, then you probably at some point are fantasizing about going to LA and riding the schools.
Yeah.
And then you get to the schools, and it is true. It's like tons of schools are just amazing, but then also some percentage of schools are, the security is fucking on point to the point where it's like almost impossible to get in there. But then there's a lot of schools where like it's fine. You just have to hop a couple of fences to get into it. And, so you do have this moment that's kind of awkward where me and Phil and fucking, 5 other dudes are pulling up in a big white van and tossing our bikes over a huge fucking fence into an elementary school, and then climbing over the fence, and then realistically smoking weed and drinking alcohol and like sitting around and obviously we would not go there unless there was nobody around, which is the case on a Saturday or a Sunday typically. But you are like keenly aware of the fact that like this is a little weird.
Yeah.
If the cops were to show up, this might be a little hard to understand. Now, luckily, like the cops do get it. They fucking live here, and they are not going to assume that you're on some weird shit. But there are moments where like we've been in a fucking school, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, boom, there's a soccer game. And it's like, we feel like we've got the run of this place. We're posted up, fucking 5 cameras pointing at a handrail. And then all of a sudden the gate opens and, 18 cars come in. And all of a sudden there's a bunch of kids playing a soccer game.
And Phil's chasing after a kid out of breath. Like, hey, come back here.
Phil's like, get over here.
I want to show you a magic trick.
And there's a moment there where you're like, oh, this is a weird hobby. And I remember even the first time that I was like 27 and I came to LA and we're just out of college. Just posted up riding. And even at 27, I'm like very aware of the fact that like, oh yeah, I'm like 5-6 years older than everybody else here. Like I'm starting to feel like quite out of place in this environment. Whereas a couple years ago, I would have felt like I fit in perfectly, aside from the fact that I got this fucking bike with me,
I still go film content, sometimes pranks at UCLA, like my alma mater, and now I'm 10 years out of college.
Yeah, but you still have the young look that you like make sense in that environment.
Maybe I think I'm a grad student.
Yeah, but you could definitely like I don't know how long it's going to take, but you could definitely start. Imagine Louis C.K. if that was his day-to-day, going to the colleges and talking shit to the woke kids.
He'd have to change it up.
Optically, at a certain point, it's going to be kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I'm already moving away from that.
Yeah.
I've told you I hate filming in L.A., I'm pretty sure.
Right, yeah. That's why you're always off going on missions and
always
whatnot.
Going on fucking missions.
This has been a clip from my new podcast, Sledge Lords with Danny Mullen. We're dropping a new episode every week, so either hit the link in the description or search up the Adam22 channel on YouTube. Appreciate you guys.